Nobody is going to truly understand your motivations and reasons except for you. I was in a good conversation the other day with someone, and we were talking about life, where we want to be, where we are now, where we were, why we're doing what we're doing, who we are as people. I think I could have explained my reasons and my motivations better. I don't think anybody else is going to understand them to the extent that I am. Nobody is going to understand your reasons and motivations to the same extent you will. And I guess you can say that's kind of obvious because they are not you. You are you. You know what you're thinking and why. Maybe they can get a grasp of it, put a few puzzle pieces together, but they're not going to understand your turning point or your turning points as a person in life because they aren't you. Just because someone doesn't understand your reasons and motivations doesn't mean they are inherently wrong or incorrect. Yes, people who strive to be the best they can be and people who are truly obsessed with something, and I don't mean people who think they're obsessed with something, I mean people who are truly obsessed with something. Yes, they will share similar qualities, but not every single quality will be shared. And you know the great thing about it is that nobody has to understand your reasons and motivations. Nobody has to know what's driving you to do what you're doing except you. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't challenge your ideas or your beliefs because they should, and that is how you know if your ideas, thoughts, and beliefs are grounded in something true, real, and raw. Nobody has to understand what's driving you, what's giving you this energy, except you. And you know what? If everything happens for a reason, and if you feel like as a person you're meant for more, who says it won't happen? If what you're doing is working, and what I mean by if it's working is if you are still making progress towards your goals, towards being the person you would like to be or living the life you would like to live, if you're still making progress and you wake up every morning with a sense of purpose, in a sense, to get things done, to be productive, to do things that benefit you, who's to say that you're wrong or it's wrong? During this conversation, the topic of where do you see yourself in 5 years came up. I once heard something along the lines of, when you stop worrying about where you're going, that's when you know you're on the right path.
How do you know that you're on your path? Because it disappears. That's how you know. How do you know that you're really doing something radical? Because you can't see where you're going. That's how you know. But everything you have lent on for your identity has gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are going to enter the black contemplative splendors of self-doubt at the same time as you're setting out on this radical new path. So you need to know how you know where you are. But actually, poetry shows how incredibly precise it is in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a story that would be told to a young boy or girl that would ask the question, what do I do when I'm lost in the forest? So the elder says, stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Stand still. What do I do when I'm lost in the forest? Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. Listen. The forest breathes. It whispers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. See, what's astonishing about that poem is you can say, there are three things in this poem, you see, that are absolutely clear. First of all, the elder says, you cannot sleepwalk your way into your destiny. You must wake up and pay attention. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. You must pay attention. Second stage is that is that in this teaching from the elder is this incredible feeling of silence. That unless you have this silence in your life, and you feel the silence in the poem, where he says, if you leave it, you may come back again saying, here. And I think what the elder is saying there is that if you pay real attention, unless you have silence, an ability for silence in your body to do that, then you will get too frightened. Because all the voices inside you will drown out any real change. You have 100 reasons not to make any real change, you see. And you've got all the voices and all the reasons not to do it. And so the ability for profound silence is being called on here. And then that attention can flower into something else.
The poem seems to be attempting to awaken a kind of intuitive sense.
That's right. And then this amazing last line, the forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.
Yeah.
Not to say that thinking 5 years ahead is a bad thing, because it's not. It's a healthy thing to do. But since I'm not thinking 5 years ahead of me, maybe I'm doing things correctly. I am being the best I can be every day right now. Hearing that out loud, I don't look 5 years down the road. It makes me feel somewhat lazy, lackadaisical. I am trying to enjoy the present moment, be the best I can be right now, rather than focusing 5 years down the line. And maybe that's a curse, a bad thing, or unhealthy. To not worry about where I'm going to be 5 years from now, or think about it constantly because I feel like things are going to work out. You know, I believe things are going to work out for me exactly how they should. Maybe thinking this way could be harmful to my future or ignorant to my future, but at the same time, it's liberating. It's a formless form. What comes to mind when I think about this is when Bruce Lee said, "Be like water."
Unacting, acting, or acting, unacting. I mean, here it is the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both. So therefore, it's not pure naturalness or unnaturalness. The ideal is unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I am focusing on being fluid, on being now, on taking form and trying to master the art of being now, following the flow of life. This isn't to say that I don't have dreams and aspirations and goals, because I do, and maybe focusing on what I have to do now to achieve these aspirations, dreams, and goals will help me later down the line by being present now, by being fluid, by being like water in a sense. Nobody is going to truly understand you except yourself. The world is yours. Dare to be great.
How do you know that you're on your path? Because it disappears. That's how you know. How do you know that you're really doing something radical? Because you can't see where you're going. That's how you know. But everything you have lent on for your identity has gone. And so you are going to enter the black contemplative splendors of self-doubt at the same time as you're setting out on this radical new path.
But it's unacting, acting, or acting, unacting. If
You've lost me.
I have, right? So what I'm saying, actually, you see, I mean, it's a combination of both. I mean, here it is the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not If you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both. So therefore, it is not only, so therefore it's not pure naturalness or unnaturalness. The ideal is unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness. So here I am, as a human being. How can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way, you won't create a style, because style is a crystallization, Running water never grows stale. To me, okay? To me. Ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do, but to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, that, my friend, is very hard to do, and you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving, and when you move, you are determined to move, not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm gonna do it, man, and I'm gonna do it, you see. So that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.